Hi, and welcome to another episode of Chats with Chantla. I'm Chantla Israel, the host, and we have a phenomenal conversation with an amazing entrepreneur. Her name is Patrice Payne. She is a visual artist and educator. Welcome to the show, Patrice. How are you doing this evening?
Good. Thank you for having me, Chantla, tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I am so excited for this conversation. I shared with you how excited, but there's so many reasons for the viewers who are watching is she is a visual artist and she's an educator. So she teaches art at school, but then she is a part of our country's history. And I just want to just jump right into that because I admit it matters so much to me. And I am so excited to be able to have this collaboration for you to say yes to me. I was like, oh my gosh, she said yes. And the reason why I'm excited is because you guys are all going to be saying, I saw her first on, and it's gonna be Chats with Chantla, because this woman is doing some amazing things, has done some amazing things. And it's such an honor, as always, with any entrepreneur. But what you're doing really resonates with me, Patrice. So I'm going to have lots of smiles on my face. There are people already welcoming you to this platform. I'm so excited for this conversation. I hope you are too. We're both a little nervous. I talk really fast because I'm like so anxious to share the things that you are doing, and making history, like making a huge impact. Not everyone gets the opportunity to do that. So Patrice, how you're doing good today? I see something behind you. What is that?
Yes, the piece behind me is a part of a series called Bloom. It's one of a few drawings that I did that focus on this idea of the female figure or the woman becoming a coming into herself. Is about rebirth, regrowth, and an understanding of one's identity. So they are emerging from these flowers. It's about 5 to 6 drawings I did, and it's a project that I've come back to every now and then. Flowers are a very actually a major motif in my work, but also the female figure is a strong motif as well. I always go back to that female figure as a central focus, because I believe that is something that I enjoy kind of representing, not only about myself, but also like the foremothers and the ancestors that have come before me. I represent in these figures as well.
Absolutely. I love that. So as you can tell, just by that quick response, how interesting and insightful this platform is about to be. I'm so excited. Patrice, you have done some great work, and thank you so much for sharing a brief about that piece of art behind you with the viewers, and just giving us a little bit more insight about who you are as a visual artist as well. But a lot of us also understand that you're an entrepreneur. So how did you become an entrepreneur?
Well, I guess I can say just my passion for art. Right now, I've been kind of moving towards like really focusing on my art career, and really being more involved in creating more work. These past couple of years, I've been working, just developing the characters that I'm creating. We talked a little bit about some of the Four Seasons characters that I've been creating. I just recently did a residency with the Bronx Art Space at Governor's Island, and there I really kind of delved into just developing the storyline behind the characters that I'm working on. And these characters all represent the Four Seasons, and they are kind of taking on issues dealing with climate change, environmentalism, and they're being birthed by the Mother Earth figure. And so it kind of ties into these ideas of empowerment, also just things that are current events, as well as Afrofuturism, but also representation and this idea of visibility, and that's also tied into like reasonings behind why I want to, I guess I could say be an entrepreneur, because it's like, and I can't coin the word, but I've heard it many times, and there's an organization called that, but my goal is just to like just bring about visibility to the arts, and especially to young people of color. Just bring about that awareness, and that's
Absolutely.
my focus at the moment. Thank you.
Absolutely. I hear the passion for art when you're just, talking about it and all the accomplishments and different things that you have done. And I really appreciate, how thorough you are in understanding the importance of art. I know art was something very important to me when I was in school, and it really opened doors for me in regards to expressing myself. And there's just, something that I may have never been able to be exposed to. And I know some of the things like the music department, art department, and certain things are just getting pulled out of schools. And so it is something that is dying out of schools because of funding. It's the first thing people are taking away. So as an educator, you have a lot of challenges that you're being faced with. So, as an educator, but now transforming that into entrepreneurship, how and what are your key driving forces to keep you moving forward during these challenging times?
I think some of my driving forces, I guess, would be just staying focused. I have to say, like, during this pandemic, even though it's been a struggle, just being that this is something has been impacting everybody as a whole, it definitely allowed room for me to just reflect on the things that I'm grateful for, the things that I've done in the past, that have definitely propelled me to continue to do the work that I would want to focus on, and continue to expand on. So just being able to just keep with that strength of will, keep that determination. Also, just being able to have people that are super supportive, kind of in your corner all the time. My family is super supportive. I have great friends that have always been by my side, and just encouraging me. Just even just small words of encouragement have been able to, like, just reinforce that need to just keep going.
Absolutely. And I love that you talked about just the support system, because that makes a huge difference in how we move and how we create and how we like just expose ourselves. And I'm glad that you were able to share that. But for our viewers who are just now tuning in, this is another episode of Chats with Chantla. This is actually episode 21. And we have the amazing Patrice Payne, and she is the visual artist and educator out of New York City. She literally is making history. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But I just want to show a quick video of Patrice, because if you missed it and it was posted on my page this morning, I want to give you an opportunity to just learn a little bit more about her. So I'm going to show this brief video, and then we're going to continue this amazing conversation. So, for you guys joining in, that was a brief video of Patrice Payne, and she is our featured entrepreneur tonight on the show. I have goosebumps, and the reason why I have goosebumps is I'm jumping a little bit ahead of myself. But Patrice, you have done something that New York City will know you for forever. And I'm not just talking about the mural, but also the things that you have done in Brooklyn. But I have to get back to the mural that you've done in regards to the Black Lives Matter. That is huge. And it's huge to me because it matters so much. It resonates so much with me and so many others that are viewing. And I just want to talk about that experience. Like, can you give us a little bit about the how you feel about knowing, that you're a part of the history of New York City and Manhattan, but also just this country, you really have an imprint on the country and where we're at today.
Yeah. So I had the honor of contributing to the mural this summer, and it was a pretty fast turnaround. I got some information about it at the end of June, and early July we had to just submit our designs to select the artists, and we actually, the mural was sponsored by the Manhattan Borough President's Office, Gail Brewer, and as well as the Black Lives Matter of Greater New York. And this mural was done in a matter of a few days,
Wow.
to be honest. And it was not only just a monumental experience, just being a part of it, but just the fact that it's so impactful, just the idea of what it's going to be for generations to come to be able to see it as long as it lasts. And each of the letters, or well, each of the words, I should say, kind of reflected the roots, the revolution, and the resiliency of the Black, the movement and mobilization of Black people in this country, and globally, I should say. And each letter that I created, my goal behind the letters was to create almost an acronym, and each letter stands for, I designed matter, and each letter just stands for just a specific moment in time in our history. So M stands for matriarch and metamorphosis. A stands for ancestor. The first T stands for tradition. The second T stands for triumph. And then the E stands for evolving environment, and the R stands for resilience.
Listen, now you guys understand why I was so excited, and you are getting so much support in the comments that you'll be able to see
Oh,
after
thank
it's
you.
been published on Facebook. But there are so many people just shouting out how talented and accomplished and inspiring you are. We have a previous featured entrepreneur. Her daughter loves art, and she's watching, and she's a young girl, and she's under the age of 10, and she is really enjoying this conversation. And a really good friend of mine who grew up in New York City said that the picture of the fire hydrant took her back to Harlem in the summers, along with the basketball shot. So your art is really resonating with so many people. It's just uplifting everyone. It's also bringing back some memories, but it is such an amazing, creation that you have and that you do, and you do it through your hands and your imagination. And you're actually just touching so many people and you're influencing so many people. So I just want to shout out Tay, who she was a featured entrepreneur, Shantae Campbell, and we spoke about her nonprofit. She's here. We have Tiara, we have Amber, we have so many friends. We have my best friend Misty, we have Kim. Thank you, Kim, for watching. And we also have Adrian, and I believe that she may be a relative of yours.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited. And thank you all for actually supporting, watching. It is so amazing. And thank you, Tiara. So many people are already sharing this conversation. So I already knew that it was going to resonate with so many people, but you have such a great story of your passion about art, what you're doing to make history in this country, and then also just what you do on an everyday basis as an educator. So art, is something that can live on forever, like you said, and it can allow to be able to influence in so many ways and so many people. So I really appreciate that. And so many people are appreciating you for doing that as well, Patrice. But I also want to get right back into this conversation and ask you, on an average, how many hours are you putting in as an entrepreneur or as an artist?
That's a good question. I think I have to say I draw maybe like I'll spend like 2 hours, maybe a day or so. I do take breaks every now and then. There's moments where I'll have an artist block. I was actually watching. I don't know if you know the writer and actress Michaela Cole, but I was watching her. She did an interview for Harper's Bazaar, I believe,
Mhm.
and she was just talking about writer's block, and I was just like, it resonated with me because it's like, yeah, you deal with a lot of that as an artist as a whole, and
Mhm.
sometimes just the little things, just the everyday things kind of become a part of the work too, but you don't realize that. You don't really count those as part of the work. I guess that's what I want to say. Like, so those are become a part of the hours too. So I don't really keep count of like what the hours are actually. Um, so I guess it will be nonstop because sometimes you'll wake up in the middle of the night and you're like jotting things down, or I'm taking notes on the train while I'm commuting. So it's like nonstop pretty much.
Absolutely, and I agree. And so if you're just now joining in, I just asked Patrice how many hours that she puts in being an entrepreneur, being an artist, and she just said it's nonstop. So if you are thinking about taking this step and taking the leap into entrepreneurship, this is not for the faint at heart. It takes a lot of hard work and consistency, and it's nonstop in her words. It's something that she gets waken up out of her sleep thinking about. And so I'm so grateful for that because you produce some beautiful pieces that we all want to be able to see and be exposed to and also support you. So we need you to, not that we don't want you to get rest, but we definitely want you to keep creating because we're really appreciative of that. And my next question, you kind of touched base on you have a lot of support from family and friends. But being an entrepreneur, we all know that relationships are affected by that. So how has being an entrepreneur, impacted or affected the relationships you do have with family and friends?
Um, Honestly, I do get a lot of support from family and friends. They are always encouraging. They're always telling me, go for it. So sometimes I'm the one talking myself out of something more often than not. And they're the ones that are pushing me towards it. So I have to give them like a shout out for just like, actually sticking with me and actually pushing me, and being that driving force to get me to kind of step out of my comfort zone, and do different things, like being able to be on your show and being able to share my experience and story is a big step. So and I have to be thankful for the people who supported me. So I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. And we all have to come out of our comfort zone. I know what it is. When I'm comfortable, I talk faster. So we all have to go through these different levels to address our discomfort. But as you spoke, it just helps us grow. And I'm so grateful for the support that you have. I know people who are watching, our viewers, thank you so much. I want to shout you out for just supporting this platform and also now supporting another entrepreneur that's been exposed on Chats with Chantla. So Patrice, you have a lot more support. We have a lot more cheerleaders and encouraging words that are going to be, backing you because of this collaboration. Again, thank you so much for saying yes. And also, Patrice, again, you have many accomplishments. So I'm not going to ask you to list them all, but I am going to be dropping them on the screen as we continue to speak because there's this entrepreneur is not someone who is just like, okay, I'm an artist and I just do some small things here and there. No, she really is a history maker. And also, she has a lot of accomplishments and achievements and some really great, phenomenal education of where she chose to get educated to hone into her craft and to make it what it is today. And you keep doing it so well. But I want to know also, Patrice, what motivates you to keep going?
What motivates me? I think mainly just being able to just have an opportunity to just open my eyes for the next day. That's a form of motivation for me. there's a lot happening in our world as we see it. There's a lot going on with people during the pandemic, and people are struggling throughout the world, and just being able to wake up for the next day is motivation enough. But also, um, just knowing that I'd have the ability to create something, or I have the ability to envision something is also an aspect of motivation for me. I'm grateful for all the opportunities I did have, and I'm looking forward to whatever door opens up next. And I'm thankful for I always say, my parents are no longer here, but I'm thankful for what they instilled in me as a kid, and I've always taken that with me into adulthood.
Thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate that. And so, as you were speaking, I was dropping down some education, some accomplishments, a lot of different things that you've achieved. And I really appreciate that. And, I also just appreciate your authenticity in this conversation. It is really, refreshing. And I'm, just really appreciative of that. Again, this is another episode of Chats with Chantla. I'm Chantla Israel, and I have the amazing Patrice Payne here, and she is a visual artist and educator out of New York City. And Patrice has been doing some phenomenal things. So if you're just now tuning in, you want to make sure that you hit rewind so you can get it from the very beginning. You don't want to miss the video that displayed some of her art and some of the work that she has done. And also, you don't want to miss all the insight that she's been providing as an entrepreneur and also as an artist. But Patrice, you and I had a great conversation prepping for tonight's show, and we spoke about some new ideas that you have. So one, I want to know how you generate new ideas. And then two, I want to hear about what you're working on.
Yeah. So typically, what I would do, I guess my art kind of spans a lot of different mediums. I don't only do drawing, but I guess that's my primary medium. But I also enjoy photography. I won't say that I am a professional photographer, but I enjoy capturing different moments. I love nature. So that's always something that I go to. That's like my go-to for inspiration. So it's often evident in my drawings and in my photography as well. I enjoy printmaking, mixed media. That's what I'm like kind of getting into now, and digital media as well. So I think a lot of my work is kind of merging all of those interests, together.
Mhm.
Drawing, the digital media, like they're all becoming a little family. And hopefully my work will exude that. The next projects that I'm working on will exude that. As I mentioned before, like I'm working on these characters, and hopefully they're epitomizing the four seasons, and hopefully that gets turned into a comic book. That's the plan. Like I want to realize that as a comic book. But I'm also thinking about animation. So I'm actually doing some stills right now to do a stop motion animation. So I've been working hard. I'm trying to balance the two, like my job and the creative aspect of my career. But it's those are some of the things that I've been that I have in mind at the moment. I guess I can say that at the like right now, the characters that I shared with you, like they're I want them to kind of represent they're representing all, different women of color, because this idea that we're not typically seen as superheroes. So I really want that to be the primary focus in this work. And I'm just tapping back into like characters that I enjoyed seeing as I grew up. including Xena. We talked
Right.
about, Captain Planet and like
Mhm.
um, uh, uh, Powerpuff Girls and Sailor Moon. So like, I'm kind of like drawing inspiration from all those things in this particular work. Yeah, that's pretty much where I am at the moment. But I'm also doing some work that's kind of based on family life and my heritage, and just kind of tapping back into that as well.
Absolutely. I love it. I love all of it. I'm here for it all. I can't wait to see it, support it. I really appreciate that. And the other thing that I think a lot of, and it makes me go back to the young lady who was watching Ari, about loving art and how it's not as, prevalent in schools as it was before, is that sometimes I think we forget what art creates. Art creates is levels. There are different levels of art, graphic design, home decor, that when you're just, it seems like, okay, it's just a line on the ground, but, people are doing things like, wonder if it was a squiggly line when it's supposed to be straight. Like there are certain things that, artists are doing that I think that we forget at times. So when you're thinking about, coding is one thing, but also there's a lot of artistry to that, and they work with graphic designers to bring that code to life. So there is a lot of things when you're thinking about like, oh, well, I'm not really impacted by art. You really are. Like marketing, when you think about marketing and why your eye is attracted to one thing and not the other, it's someone drew that. There was some form of art that was expressed to get you to do that. So art is around us all the time. We're influenced by art every single day. And what Patrice does is, she reminds us of that, but also that's what she's doing in a daily basis. But new things are always coming. And Patrice talked about some of the things that are new for her. And I know a lot of you are watching because you want to hear about the new thing that's happening for Chats with Chantla. And that is that we have a holiday giveaway that's going to be happening. It is going to start next Monday. But there are some giveaway rules that I'm going to put up on the screen with Patrice and I. So the giveaway rules and how you can enter to have your chance to win is that you will need to share this episode, like it, and also comment and continue that. Also, even starting next week. So on the 23rd, I believe it's the 23rd. Yes, the 23rd, you'll want to share, like, and comment. And you have to do all three of these tasks to be entered as an opportunity to win the giveaway. So they are very simple rules. Just share, like, and comment. And we understand that when you share, that's the easiest way to get people exposed and noticed. When you like something, it shows people that you support it. And when you comment, your comments can be very encouraging. So the giveaway rules are very easy. They're not hard. I'm not asking you to do some crazy stunts to be able to do it. It's just three things. And that's also going to bring more awareness to the platform and also to the entrepreneurs that are featured here. And they're small business owners. And that is, the more people who know who they are, the more people can support it. And that's why I'm asking you to share, like, and comment. And that share is going to get Patrice noticed more, bring awareness to what she does and how she impacts, just like other entrepreneurs who've been on the show and those who are coming up. So again, those giveaway rules will be posted on my Facebook page and you'll be able to see them, but they are share, comment, and like starting on November 23rd. And I want to shout out those entrepreneurs who are collaborating with me to be able to provide these beautiful gifts that are going to be given away. So shout out to some entrepreneurs that you'll see when the announcement of their giveaway happens. So you'll be getting some items from them. So thank you all for supporting Chats with Chantla. And here's a way of us giving back to you. But Patrice, I am so excited for what you are doing. And I want to actually ask the question, because you spoke about earlier about, being uncomfortable and doing stuff out of your comfort zone. What is your greatest discomfort and how do you manage it?
Yeah, I would say my greatest discomfort is probably public speaking. But I think just being able to just do these interviews and being able to have my voice heard, not only my voice is heard in my work, but also being able to vocally express myself is another way for me to like, step outside that box and create a platform for myself and just be able to show people that, even though you're an introvert, and this may be something that may be daunting, you still have the potential of impacting someone in a different way. So just being able to just slowly get myself out there and share my perspective.
Wonderful. And I get it. Because as much as people know I love to talk, because I do, I get butterflies every single time before every episode of Chats with Chantla. And so I talk really fast. And so it's uncomfortable. And I'm glad that you share that, because the thing more that importantly is that you're doing it, even in discomfort and not being very comfortable in what you're doing it, you're still putting yourself out there, because the more you do it, the more you'll become comfortable in doing it. So again, that was very an honest response. We're not sitting here pretending that we have everything perfect and we're comfortable in everything that we do. So thank you again for sharing that. But Patrice, who or what has been your greatest inspiration in what you do?
I think I always say my parents. I go back to them because even though, and I always say this, like, I and my sister probably may chuckle at this. We grew up in a very strict Caribbean household, and even though my parents always supported, the fact that I wanted to pursue art. Like, they knew, like, they didn't stress like me wanting to become a doctor, me wanting to be, like, they were like, okay, like, we know she wants to do art, let her do her thing. So I have to say, they are my biggest inspiration. But I do have artists that I also look up to. I'm really inspired by Elizabeth Catlett, her work. Um, I've always was inspired by her work, especially her prints that she did um, of the Black experience, especially during like right before the Civil Rights Movement. I also really enjoy the work of Carol Walker, Kahindi Wiley. So many of the artists that are current, I look up to them and really admire the work that they're doing as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that and sharing your greatest inspirations as well. And then, also knowing that art has a really big influence on how we market our businesses as entrepreneurs and even how we attract customers. How do you market your business as an entrepreneur? Are there tactics that you use that are more successful than others?
I think what's been the best way is just like me just being able to just be myself, posting my work, even if it's not like, if it's unfinished, I still post it. And I think that's a great way to show people like, okay, we know that she's, this is a work in progress, and we know that she uh, is still continuing to do this project. So it keeps them interested. It kind of piques their interest and makes them want to, I guess, come back for more. But also just being able to just show that I'm, just regular. Like, I'm a human. I'm doing my everyday things. I'm enjoying um, the day to day. I'm going about my day. I'm enjoying the experiences around me. So being able to capture that um, also is a great way to engage people as well. At least that's the way I find it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Also, you know, a lot of people who are watching are also entrepreneurs themselves, and they think of different skills that you need to have as an entrepreneur. Or there's a lot of books that we read or thing that people that we follow talk about some top skills that they feel that people should have to be a successful entrepreneur. Do you feel that you have any top skills that you feel you want to share with our viewers that would help steer them into successful entrepreneurship?
That, honestly, I think I am still learning and growing as an entrepreneur and as an artist, I should say. too, because I'm always trying to figure out what works best, what work should I, what work would, be best for me to create. So I am, growing in that respect. So I think that I can't, and everybody has a specific strategy or tactic that works best for them. So honestly, I can't say what will work best for them. Just being able to trust in yourself, and in the work that you do, and just being confident in your work as well.
Thank you. I think that's great. I think, you hit the nail on the head in regards to being confident in what you do, because you may not be supported, you may not be cheered on, but if you're confident in who you are and abilities, that is definitely going to help you get up every day when it's very difficult and keep you moving forward. So I think that's some great advice, and that's some beautiful tips on, some skills that you feel that would make you successful. And it's different for everybody. It's not the same for everybody, and that success looks different for everybody. But what I will say is there is no straight line to success. There are zigzags, there's curves, there's detours, there's bumps in the road. So you definitely have to keep moving forward. But Patrice, I do want to ask you about like some key activities that you do as an entrepreneur. You have mentioned, you touch base on a lot of the like artists that you follow that are impactful to you, that educate you. But what are some other activities, or what are some activities that you participate in to keep you going and to keep you honing in on your craft?
Right. I think I have to say, I like going to the museums, always checking out some of like the latest shows, whatever's up, um, like current, or even like past exhibits. I haven't been to the museum just because of the restrictions as of late, but just being able to check out what other creators are making. Also, I think just sometimes just like taking a moment to relax, like taking a step back, and then coming back to my work. So sometimes I'll take a break or two, a couple of days. So that could be just like sitting back and watching a movie, or hanging with a friend, and just having a moment away from the work, and just coming back to it later on with a new perspective.
Absolutely.
Always a good way to kind of like um, kind of have a fresh outlook at the work.
Mhm. I think rest is always important.
Mhm.
Rest really does rejuvenate you, like to move away from whatever you're working on and come back. It gives you a fresh look on what you're doing, especially if you're having some like writer's block, or you're getting tired as you're reading, or you're not creating as quickly as you would normally do or producing. So I can imagine how that is impactful for you to walk away. Rest is important. Rest is a part of not just, self care, but it's also a part of you just taking the time to understand that, as you stated, you're human. We
Mhm.
need to step away sometimes and then come back and allow, our energies and vibes to flow, and our creative juices to create for as entrepreneurs. But Patrice, Chats with Chantla is a platform where we build, connect, and collaborate. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity. But our viewers, definitely, I know many of them, because the images that they saw resonated with them, and this conversation has been really, powerful for them. It's been impactful for them to understand what it is to know you a little bit more as a visual artist and educator, but also to get your story behind your journey into entrepreneurship. And we want to support you. So I know that you do have a website, and I do have that website address on the screen for other people to see and jot down, grab a pen and paper. And again, Patrice has made some great impact, and you've seen some of her artwork. There is more things that she's doing on our website, and also how you can connect her with other individuals as an educator, and also maybe being a keynote speaker, or just anything. Like the thing about it is networking, getting her name into the conversation, and finding out what other people would need in regards to the abilities and skills that Patrice brings to the conversation in the table. So visit her website at www.patricepayne.com. Also, Patrice, I would love for you to provide us with your social media handles so we could, befriend you and follow you there and support you there and, share, like, comment, all the different things that we can do to make sure other people, besides the viewers of tonight's show on Chats with Chantla, know more about who you are.
Of course. My handle for Instagram is pjpayne.art. That's pjpayne.art. And on Facebook, I am Patrice Payne. You can find me on my artist page. It's also just at Patrice Payne.
Okay. So I have listed her social media handle, which is on Instagram at pjpayne.art. And then you can also follow her on Facebook at her name, Patrice Payne. And make sure that you're following and you're learning more about who she is as an entrepreneur. And also the fact that once again, we can't control all that's going on in this challenging world today, but what we can control is how we spend our dollars. And we could spend our dollars by supporting this entrepreneur and the work that she's doing. She's already made history for this country with being a part of a mural for Black Lives Matter, and she designed the words for the word matter. And so I think about that, and I'm thinking about how historical this conversation is for me to be speaking to someone who has done that and has really done something that's a reflection of who I am, and to show people that I matter as a Black woman and as a Black person here in this country. And so thank you for that. But, if you go onto her website or you're following her on her social media platforms, but on her website, there's so much information that it's going to make you feel like you know her even more than just this conversation. And you're going to see a lot more images of her work. She has series on there. She's going to be able to bring some nostalgia that she has brought for, through some of your artwork through the park. Someone said it reminded them of Harlem at the basketball games and things like that. And so the summer's there. And I just really appreciate who you are as an individual. And I really am inspired by who you are as an entrepreneur. So being a visual artist and educator is not easy. And I'm so appreciative of you sharing your story, here on Chats with Chantla. And yes, even in that discomfort. But Patrice, I want to give you an opportunity to share any final thoughts that you would have with the viewers of Chats with Chantla.
Sure. Thank you, Chantla, for having me. And I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more about my experience and about my work. I'll be featuring some of my work at a exhibition and holiday pop-up at Shashama this December coming up. And I'll be having some updates about that in my social media handle at pjpayne.art, as well as on my Facebook page. I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. Patrice, it has been an amazing experience for me. I believe that, a lot of people who are joining Chats with Chantla as viewers and supporting us on a weekly basis have really been inspired by your story, have been really uplifted by your pieces of artwork, and also the historical work that you're doing. There is so much more to come from Patrice. So I just want you guys to make sure that tuning in, you're following her, you're being a part of her story. Because when I say that there are some great things coming down the pipeline for this featured entrepreneur, you want to make sure that you're following her, connecting with her, supporting her. Holiday season is right around the corner. There's a great opportunity to get a print, to get some artwork from her, to support her and be able to say that I have a Patrice Payne in my house. I know that I'm going to be one to be able to get something, because I want to be able to showcase her in every aspect that I can. So I want to thank everyone for joining another episode of Chats with Chantla. If you are an entrepreneur or know an entrepreneur and they would like to collaborate, make sure you connect them with me. And so I would love to make sure that we could collaborate and put this on a platform as well. Patrice, it has been an amazing conversation. You did great, as I said you would. And you are such an inspiration. And I'm so thankful that I get to have this relationship with you, a professional one, and get to know you even more as a person. So this is the beginning of a beautiful collaboration. Thanks again for watching another episode of Chats with Chantla. We'll see you next Monday at 7.